Jesse. Yep, Jesse. Jesse, one of you will be facing Derek Kilmer in November. What is his weakest point? What makes you uniquely qualified to take advantage of his weak point in facing Derek Kilmer?
Derek Kilmer's weakest point is that he tries to claim to be a fiscal conservative, but he's not. And he's duped some people here in the local district into believing that. But he has absolutely no business experience. In fact, you have to understand, he's a very slick politician. He's a chameleon. But you have to send someone back that's been vetted in the private sector that can take him to task on that one thing, because if he tries to lead with that and you can counterpoint him, you'll have a very successful opportunity to take back this district. I would also advocate this. We know he's already come out with certain attacks. He'll try to paint other candidates, other Republicans, as favoring the elitists. They always try to paint Republicans as favoring the rich. The truth is, Derek is scared of me, and I'll tell you why. Because I'm a new type of Republican, and you can't claim that I grew up with a silver spoon in my mouth. When Derek gets up there and says, Jesse, why do you want to cut taxes or help business? Why do you want to cut bus services for people? I'll turn around and say, Derek, you ever ridden on a bus and sitting in a stained seat? Why do you want people to ride the bus, Derek? I want them to own a car. That's his weakness.
Derek Kilmer is dry as toast. He cuts a figure of a mannequin. And he doesn't have much experience in public speaking and in public debate. I'll tear him apart. That's what I'll do. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tear him apart on his issues, on his personality, on his lack of charisma, on everything that he doesn't bring to the table. And he doesn't. He really doesn't have that much experience. All he has is the union money and, that fake applause that comes with that. He's got a little bit of establishment credibility through those that want some corporate welfare. But other than that, that man is as vulnerable as any candidate could get in this district.
I think, again, focusing on his lack of experience, he's got focusing on his experience as a politician, 10 years as a politician in the state. We can see how well that's turned out. And again, he claims to have business experience, but really what that is, he's got to work part-time in a 4-person economic development board in downtown Tacoma, whose greatest success is the loss of Russell to Seattle.
Derek does have a lack of private sector experience. He's been a bureaucrat and he's been a politician. Those aren't real popular groups. And he has a lack of military experience. He did not serve his country. Now, I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I had parents that insisted that anything I wanted, I had to work for, save up, and buy. I remember working newspapers to get my first guitar. I remember saving up for my first car, a $600 Olds Cutlass that was several decades old. So he can't argue that I was born with a silver spoon. He can't argue that I haven't served my country. And he can't argue that I haven't started a company and run it successfully through really hard times.
Their concluding comments, we have to be out of here very quickly, close to 11 as we can. So I'm going to ask this. I'm going to ask them to make their 1-minute concluding statements, and I'm going to thank them, and I'm going to ask them to move outside, because I know you all want to talk to them afterwards, but we need to evacuate the room as soon as we can. So I'm going to ask the candidates to go outside in the hallway. You can talk to them there. We just need to expeditiously evacuate the room after we get done. So let me thank you all for coming. Thank the candidates and let them have their 1 minute now. Starting with Jesse, we're going to go down to Doug.
Thank you, Gary.
Hope deferred makes the heart grow weary, but a vision realized is a wellspring. Keep this point in mind. We cannot win this race if our main point that we advocate to this district is that you should vote for me because the other guy stinks. If we lead, that has not worked in this district ever. You have to stand on the strength of your own endeavor and submit something to the people that they want to believe in. This district can and should be the preeminent leader for job growth in the nation. And with the right candidate there that can unleash that potential, we can bring jobs to the 21st century here for our kids and for our grandkids and show the rest of the world how it's done. That's a vision for this district. You have palm cards in front of you. On one side of them, it lists that vision. On the other side, it lists my plan to get it done day one in Congress. A 3-step action plan to fix, secure, and empower this district. You have to be able to stand on the strength of your endeavor. That's what I'm leading with. Thank you.
We're at a pivotal point in history. We have very few years before we slide into bankruptcy. The most important thing that the federal government can do at this point is prevent that. Bankrupt nations destroy the citizens within those nations. If you've read history, you know what happens. Your savings will disappear overnight, either by default of currency, where you go to your bank and it's gone, and your debts have all been converted, so you still have all your debts, or through hyperinflation, which will turn all of your savings for all of your life into something that can only buy a cup of coffee. That is what we need to address first. That is the femoral artery that's bleeding on the table. We can argue about all the other issues that are cancers throughout our nation, but we have to address that first. So we have to get back to limited government. We have to return to our roots as a party, to be a party of limited government, peace, and commerce.
Three important things help drive this district: the natural resources, the military, and our exports. This is my experience, 20 years, broad-based business experience, much of it in timber products, forest products industry, directly relevant to that. 4 years living and working in Asia, helping build a business over there, grew up to eight offices around the region, 250 people. I understand the opportunities and the challenges of international trade, which is so important to this district. And of course, military experience. Important for the bases, important for our young men and young women that we're going to be putting into harm's way, no doubt, in the next several years. We just do that. We have to have this experience in Congress to ensure we do that responsibly.
Well, you have to ask yourself one question. Who is the most likely to win? And then you follow it up with who is most prepared for this difficult race. And I think if you do that, you'll come to the conclusion it's me, Doug Cloud. I've been out there. I'm the most widely known of this group by far in the district. I'm the most tested of this group by far in the district. I have the most experience in the issues of law, economics. And I've been right on the issues. I've been courageous, and I've come forward against tremendous odds. And I, in fact, created this opportunity, whether you like it or not. I did. And I did it hammer and tooth in a vicious war for freedom. And that's what makes me the most qualified candidate of this group.
Please join with me in thanking the candidates for being on us today.